You said that.
Let me ask
you
somebody.
said that.
Somebody who know me for real, right? Who really know me.
Man, I'm gonna tell you what you wanna hear.
Do you think I'm like from
What she got?
I think she's heavy. I think she's heavy.
The video ain't really the issue. The video being posted up on social media is the issue. If someone would have sent her that video privately, she and I would have had one conversation about it, and it would have been over.
Atlanta was supposed to be calm that night until the internet lit up like fireworks. Out of nowhere, a secret hotel video dropped online, and what it showed blew the city's piece to pieces. There he was, Clifford T.I. Harris, the man known for his loyalty and family values, caught in a luxury suite with none other than Shekinah Anderson, the woman the world knew as Tiny's ride-or-die best friend. This wasn't just gossip whispered in dark corners. This was proof. Real, raw, undeniable. The clips spread like wildfire, flooding TikTok, Twitter, and Instagram within minutes. Hashtags like #exposed and #justice for Tiny shot straight to the top. Fans were frozen in disbelief. Critics called it disgusting, and supporters didn't know what to feel anymore. The scene was too clear to deny. Expensive champagne bottles lined the table, designer clothes scattered across the floor, and those hotel curtains barely pulled shut. In the middle of it all, T.I. and Shekinah, wrapped in a moment that shattered years of trust. Everything he once preached about loyalty, respect, and family pride, gone in a heartbeat. Fans wasted no time. They stitched the leaked clip with old interviews where Tiny talked about trust and staying faithful, making the betrayal hit even harder. "Josh say he is in trouble," one fan commented under a viral post. The internet turned into a storm of anger and heartbreak. It wasn't just a scandal anymore. It was a full-blown digital earthquake shaking up one of hip-hop's most famous families. Tiny's silence spoke volumes at first. People expected her to disappear, to post something vague and emotional. But nah, she came out swinging. Instead of hiding behind quotes or cryptic captions, she faced the chaos head-on. With her head held high and pain written all over her face, she walked straight into a courtroom ready for battle. And that's when things got real. Tiny filed what the media called the betrayal lawsuit of the decade, a jaw-dropping $50 million lawsuit against both T.I. and Shekinah. She accused them of emotional abuse, humiliation, and dragging her reputation through the mud in front of the entire world. Reporters gasped when they heard the number, $50 million. That was the price of betrayal, the cost of decades of loyalty destroyed. When cameras flashed, you could see it all over Tiny's face. The heartbreak, the disbelief, the strength she was forcing herself to keep, her marriage, her home, her peace, gone, and all because of two people she trusted most. The courtroom instantly became the hottest stage in America. But the chaos didn't stop there, not even close. Because right when people thought they'd seen it all, an anonymous source dropped another bombshell, a secret diary, allegedly written by Shekinah herself. Inside were lines that made the courtroom gasp. "Clifford promised me he'd leave Tiny. He told me we'd rule the industry together," those words cut like knives. Tiny broke down in tears, shouting that they had destroyed her life and stolen her family. That raw moment hit the internet in seconds, going viral worldwide. Millions watched, cried, and rallied behind her. Tiny was no longer just a wife. She had become the tragic queen of betrayal, standing tall through the storm as her whole world burned around her. The courtroom was packed the next morning, cameras flashing, reporters shouting, and fans crowding outside, chanting "Justice for Tiny." The air was thick with tension. Everyone wanted to know one thing. What would T.I. say after the world saw that video? But the man himself walked in calm, cold, and silent. His eyes hidden behind dark shades, his jaw locked tight like he was ready for war. And when his lawyer spoke, the whole room gasped. They claimed the footage was fake, that it was all part of a setup. According to them, the video was staged to make T.I. look guilty, and Shekinah was the mastermind behind it. They painted him as the victim, not the villain, saying she wanted fame, clout, and revenge. The audience couldn't believe what they were hearing. Could this whole thing really be a trap? The gallery buzzed, reporters scribbling every word. But before the whispers could fade, Shekinah herself shot up from her seat and snapped, her voice cracking with fury. "He's lying. He used me. He promised me love, a future, and then threw me to the wolves." The courtroom exploded in chaos. Two women who were once like sisters now faced each other as enemies, one broken, the other furious, both ready to fight for the truth. Outside, the internet was on fire again. Hashtags flipped from hashtag justice for Tiny to hashtag who lying now, and fans took sides. Some defended T.I., calling it a setup, while others dragged him mercilessly, saying he was trying to twist the story after being caught red-handed. Memes filled every feed, some showing Shekinah as a snake wrapped around a microphone, others showing Tiny wearing a crown with the words, "The Queen deserves better." Shekinah's Instagram turned into a war zone overnight. Thousands flooded her comments, calling her a backstabber, a homewrecker, and worse. Every post she'd ever made got dragged back into the spotlight, analyzed, reposted, and mocked. She tried to fight back, posting tearful clips saying, "I never meant to hurt her." But nobody was buying it anymore. The streets had already chosen their queen, and her name was Tiny. Then came one of the darkest moments in the entire saga. Tiny, exhausted from days in court, walked out holding her daughter's hand. Cameras caught her trembling voice as she whispered, "Look what your father did to us. Look how he destroyed our home."
Put a lot of back and forth, a lot more strain on just what we had going on. Afraid of that, and it did put some strain on our relationship. If you see him, we was about to divorce here and there, and breaking up here and there.
That one line broke the internet in half. Millions watched that clip, frozen in silence. It wasn't just entertainment anymore. This was heartbreak unfolding in real time. The fallout hit fast. Sponsors pulled out, concerts got canceled, and angry fans protested outside T.Y.'s mansion demanding answers. His empire, once built on respect and family image, started cracking under the pressure. Meanwhile, Shekinah's reputation went up in flames. No brand wanted to be near her. And Tiny? Though shattered inside, she was now the face of strength, a woman the world rallied behind. Murals of her started appearing across Atlanta, painted like a queen rising from the ashes. Underneath, the words read, "You can't destroy a woman who finds power in her pain." But just when everyone thought the worst was over, Tiny's legal team came with new evidence, and it was about to turn the case upside down. The next day, the courthouse was a volcano ready to erupt. Reporters packed every inch of the room, phones up, live streams rolling. Everyone knew something huge was about to drop. Tiny's lawyers had promised new evidence, and when they rolled out that silver hard drive, the silence was chilling. Even T.I. looked tense for the first time. The lead attorney plugged it in, pressed play, and then the room froze. A man's voice echoed through the speakers. Low, nervous, unmistakably T.I.'s voice whispering, "Just keep it quiet, Shekinah. Tiny can never know. If this gets out, everything I built is gone." Gasps exploded across the courtroom. Tiny buried her face in her hands and sobbed as the walls of denial crumbled. Reporters nearly tripped over each other, racing out to post the quote. Within minutes, the internet exploded again. Hashtag switched to hashtag Empire Destroyed and hashtag TIX Exposed. Even celebrities were chiming in, calling it one of the wildest scandals hip-hop had ever seen. The betrayal wasn't rumor anymore. It was real, and it was recorded. But the fire kept growing. Tiny's lawyers weren't done, not even close. They slammed a stack of papers onto the table, hotel receipts, each one stamped under T.I.'s name, with Shekinah listed as the guest. The jury's faces told the whole story, shock, disgust, disbelief. The paper trail didn't lie. Tiny's attorney raised his voice, booming through the courtroom. "This isn't gossip, this is proof." Clifford Harris betrayed his wife, humiliated her, and shattered his family in front of the entire world. The gallery erupted in whispers while Tiny trembled in her lawyer's arms, breaking down all over again. T.I.'s defense scrambled to push back. His lawyer yelled that the evidence was fake, claiming someone forged receipts to destroy his client's career. He insisted it was all part of an industry setup, a bigger plot by enemies trying to bury one of hip-hop's biggest names. Outside, the streets were divided, some fans chanting that T.I. was innocent, others screaming that he got exactly what he deserved. Josh'd say he is in trouble. One user posted as clips from the trial went viral non-stop. The drama had turned into a global obsession, with people watching every tear, every glare, every move. Then Shekinah was called to the stand. Shaking but defiant, she stared at T.Y. and Tiny before saying, "I never wanted to hurt Tiny. She was my sister. But T.I. promised me everything. He said he'd leave her. He said we'd rule together." Her voice cracked mid-sentence and tears spilled as the crowd leaned in, listening to every word. But sympathy? It was gone. The audience hissed under their breath. Protesters outside yelled, "Stand with Tiny," while fans inside whispered, "Liar," under the echoes of her tears. Then came another bomb. Screenshots of private DMs appeared on the big screen. Messages allegedly from Shekinah to T.I. reading, "Cliff, I can't wait until she's out of the picture. It's finally gonna be just us." The courtroom erupted again. Reporters sprinted outside to post it first, and social media exploded with screenshots, memes, and outrage. The betrayal was no longer a story, it was history unfolding live, and Tiny stood in the middle of it, the whole world watching her pain turn into power. By the fourth day of the trial, the courthouse didn't even feel like a courtroom anymore. It felt like a full-blown movie set. News vans lined the streets, helicopters hovered above, and the crowd outside kept chanting, "Justice for Tiny," at the top of their lungs. Inside, every reporter had their phones ready, and because what came next would shake the case to its core. The first witness took the stand, a hotel employee. He claimed he personally saw T.Y. and Shekinah checking in together multiple times. The crowd gasped. People turned to look at T.Y., who instantly lost his cool, slamming his fist on the table, shouting, "They're lying! This is all lies. I'm being set up." The judge banged the gavel, threatening contempt charges while cameras caught every second of the meltdown. That clip went viral before court even ended, with captions like "Empire crumbles" and "Caught in the act." Outside, chaos erupted again. Influencers live-streamed every detail to millions of viewers, breaking down each second like it was a reality show finale. Protesters waved signs saying, "Ban the betrayers," while others painted murals of Tiny wearing a crown with the words, "Rising from the ashes." It was madness, heartbreak, spectacle, and fame all colliding in one public circus. Then, out of nowhere, the biggest bombshell yet dropped: bank records. An anonymous source leaked documents showing massive transfers from T.I.'s accounts to Shekinah, tens of thousands of dollars at a time, spread over 2 years. The projection screen lit up with numbers that made the jury's jaws drop. The implication was wild. Not only was there an affair, but hush money too. Tiny gasped in disbelief, tears spilling down her cheeks as she stared at the screen. Shekinah broke down screaming, "It wasn't about money. I loved him. I thought he loved me back." Her cries echoed through the courtroom while cameras zoomed in on every tear. Critics online called it the performance of a lifetime, while others said it was the nail in her coffin. Meanwhile, T.I. sat frozen, his empire crumbling right in front of him. Endorsements had already been pulled, shows were being canceled, and radio stations debated dropping his music. His once untouchable image of family man was now shattered glass. But in all the wreckage, Tiny stood taller than ever, broken but powerful. Reporters described her as a woman reborn through fire. Her quiet strength made fans cry across the world. "She didn't deserve this," one supporter posted. "She gave everything and still had it all ripped away." And when Tiny finally spoke outside court, the crowd went silent. Her voice was soft but steady. "This isn't just about me. It's about every woman who's ever been lied to, betrayed, and broken. I will fight until the truth is heard." The world felt her pain, every word replayed on TV, online, everywhere. Tiny had gone from heartbroken wife to symbol of strength, the queen of resilience in a world full of betrayal. But deep inside, everyone knew the story wasn't done yet. More evidence was coming, and it was about to change everything again. By the next week, the tension in that courtroom was unbearable. Everyone could feel it. Something heavy was coming. The flashing lights outside, the screaming fans, the reporters fighting for front row seats. It was chaos like Atlanta had never seen before. Tiny, exhausted but standing strong, walked in with her lawyers, ready to face the two people who tore her world apart. The betrayal was no longer rumor, it was official, printed, stamped, and read aloud for the world to hear. Every diary entry, voicemail, and receipt told a story too dark to deny. When Shekinah took the microphone again, the air turned ice cold. Her voice trembled as she confessed, "Clifford promised me love. He promised me freedom. He said Tiny was holding him back." The gallery gasped, and Tiny collapsed into her lawyer's arms, crying uncontrollably. Cameras flashed, reporters rushed out, and the internet once again exploded in real time. Hashtags like #TinyBroken and #ExposedForever dominated every feed. Fans recorded themselves crying, influencers streamed their live reactions, and reaction videos poured in by the thousands. People were no longer watching a case, they were witnessing a tragedy unfold before their eyes. Memes of T.I. started spreading with captions like "Empire of Lies" and "Snake of the South." Shekinah became the internet's villain overnight. Fans dug up her old videos, mocking her, calling her desperate for clout. The internet had picked sides, and it wasn't even close. Tiny had become their queen, broken but undefeated, humiliated yet stronger than ever. But just when the tension hit its peak, Tiny's lawyers hit the courtroom with the second leak, the one that left everyone speechless. It was a private voicemail, allegedly from TY to Shekinah, his voice low and desperate. "I can't let Tiny know. If this gets out, it's over for me, but you're the only one who understands me." The entire courtroom froze. Tiny screamed, a sound so piercing it silenced everyone. "You ruined my family! You lied to my children!" Her voice cracked through the walls as tears streamed down her face. The clip spread across the internet like lightning. Every news outlet, every social page, every gossip blog, all replaying her heartbreak over and over again. Outside, the city itself felt alive with outrage. Protesters flooded downtown Atlanta, chanting "Justice for Tiny" and "Cancel TI forever." Some held signs mocking Shekinah. Others carried posters calling Tiny the queen who survived the storm. The courthouse steps had turned into a full-blown media circus, with podcasters, influencers, and YouTubers fighting for a shot to cover every scream, every sob, every word. Helicopters circled above, news vans stretched for blocks, and millions around the world tuned in as the empire of T.I. Harris crumbled before their eyes. Inside, Tiny prepared to give her final testimony, the one that would break hearts everywhere and seal this as one of the biggest scandals hip-hop had ever seen. The final day of the trial felt like the end of an era. The courtroom was silent, every eye locked on Tiny as she took the stand one last time. The flashes of cameras, the whispers in the crowd, all faded the moment she spoke. Her voice trembled, but her words cut deep. "I gave him my youth, my loyalty, my heart, and he traded it all for lies with my so-called best friend." You could have heard a pin drop. Even T.I. looked down, unable to meet her eyes. He tried to fight back, claiming he'd been trapped, manipulated, and used. But the jury wasn't buying it. Their faces said it all. Disbelief, disappointment, disgust. The empire he'd built brick by brick was now dust beneath his feet. And when Shekinah burst into tears again, crying out, "He loved me. Don't make me the villain. I just believed his lies." Nobody in that courtroom flinched. The sympathy was gone. Tiny's lawyers weren't done yet. They pulled out the final dagger. Shekinah's own diary pages. The words written in her handwriting sealed her fate. "Clifford said we'd rule the industry together. Tiny is nothing compared to what we have." Gasps echoed through the courtroom. Tiny's face crumbled. She clutched her chest, whispering through tears, "Why me?" The entire gallery stood frozen as cameras captured her heartbreak in real time. That moment went viral instantly. Shared, reposted, remixed. The internet didn't just watch, it felt it. People across the world cried for Tiny, calling her the queen of heartbreak, the woman who turned pain into power. Shekinah, once loud and confident, walked out of that courtroom drowned in shame, booed by crowds, dragged online, and erased from every spotlight she had ever chased. T.I. didn't speak to reporters. He just lowered his head, walking past the flashing cameras as fans chanted, "Cancel T.I." and "Accountability now." Outside, the noise was deafening. Fans, influencers, and news crews all merging into one massive wave of judgment. Then came the image that broke every heart, a shaky fan video of Tiny holding her daughter's hand, whispering, "This is why I fought." To show you that no woman deserves this, that clip hit over 20 million views in a single night. People called it the realest moment of the decade, raw, human, and unforgettable. By the time the judge dismissed the trial, the Harris empire had fallen. Endorsements gone, music pulled, tours canceled. T.I.'s name no longer stood for success. It was betrayal, burned into hip-hop history. Shekinah became a symbol of downfall while Tiny rose as the embodiment of strength. This wasn't just a scandal, it was heartbreak carved into the culture. A love story turned to ashes, a friendship turned to war, and a family torn apart in front of millions. So now the question is, will Tiny ever heal from this? Can T.I. ever rebuild what he destroyed? Or has Shekinah sealed her fate as hip-hop's most infamous backstabber? Drop your thoughts in the comments right now. We need to hear what you think about this madness. Hit that subscribe button, like, share, and let's talk about it in the next one, right here on Star Buzz Daily.